Joe Chile, mornings from 7 to 9 on Buffalo's oldie station, The Big Weck. Joining us on The Big Weck's Buffalo on the Rise today is Dr. Michael Endl from Fichte Endl and Elmer Eye Care.
Thanks so much for having me, Joe. I appreciate it.
Glad to have you here. You know, I can see you perfectly. I just want you to know. But, you know, cataracts, it's kind of something that everybody has to deal with. When do they start? Is there a specific age that people get cataracts? I mean, like for me, I'm 70. I haven't had cataract surgery yet. My brother's younger than I am, but he has. He spent more time outdoors than I did, though. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but...
You know, it really is a little different for every person. It's a bit of an aging change. I say that cataracts are sort of like a wrinkle or a gray hair. So it would be pretty strange to be, say, 80-year-old and not have a cataract because you probably would have a wrinkle or gray hair by then. But some folks can start to be bothered by the lens inside your eye. It's sort of M&M candy in shape. It's just behind the colored part of our eye. And how you can appreciate it aging is most people recognize around 45 years old, their arm's not long enough. They start reaching out because, oh, I need some readers. Well, that's that same lens losing its flexibility and showing its start to age. Well, if that wasn't bad enough, it decides to keep aging, and it doesn't just become inflexible and need readers, but it starts to get a little cloudy. Very gradually, but over the years. So whether it's age 49 or 89 or anywhere in between, when you start to have a little more glare, a little more annoyance with raindrops, and a little less crispness to your vision, it's probably worth getting an exam to see if cataracts are starting to affect you.
You know, it's interesting, you know, when I was right around 40, when I needed glasses, you know, and I got the blended bifocals because, you know, that was what was good for me. I still remember trying to go upstairs like a step. When I first did it, I looked like a horse counting. I was, you know what I mean? Like, where's that step? But you get used to them, you know. Sure. Now, if you get cataract surgery, do you still need glasses for reading or whatever the case? Well,
what a great question. So, you know, we talk about bifocals, and most of the common ways we wear bifocals now aren't a lot different from when Ben Franklin sort of invented them, right? You know, you have the distance portion on the top part of your glasses and the reading towards the bottom. So first time you put them on, just like that, oh, doc, I can't see my feet, I got to move my head down. Now when we do a cataract surgery, we talked about that lens on the inside of your eye. So much has changed over the last 30, 40 years, where it used to be, wait till you can't see anything. You used to hear these things like, you know, wait till your cataract is ripe. And it's just something we've sort of heard from our grandparents and what have you. And ripe meant legally blind. Well, first of all, I don't want any of my body parts to be ripe anymore, number one. And number two, we'd prefer you don't wait till you're legally blind, because what about those couple of years before where maybe you got in a couple of fender benders or had other problems? So not only has the procedure now been available to people if you're frustrated with your vision, and that's an important distinction. You don't need to rush, and a cataract is almost never an emergency. But when you have some frustration with your vision, you let us take an exam, and now we can see some modern options that might help you see distance, intermediate, and up close without glasses. But better than the Ben Franklin bifocal, you're no longer choosing which position you're looking through your face. Where you look is where you see, and the brain automatically adapts.
You know, to use that ripe analogy, that makes me nervous, because what happens after something gets ripe? It falls off.
That's right.
So, you know, I'm not totally into that. So cataract surgery is inevitable at some point.
Correct. I mean, unless you're undeniable and want to let yourself go sort of to legal blindness, which will approach to, yes, you have to do it at some point.
Now, how would you say that cataract surgery has developed or progressed, if you will, over the years?
So we talk about the examples of maybe when my founding partner, Dr. Fichte, in the late 70s and early 80s moved to where else, if you're going to be an eye doctor, would you move to but the cataract city, Niagara Falls, of course. So it makes a little sense.
Good point. And different cataract, though, right?
Yeah. So cataract really means sort of like a white foam, and that's like the falls. The falls, yeah. It's a waterfall. So we prefer you don't wait until that's a mature cataract and it's so white you can't see anything. You see that sometimes in our pets or people when we go on our medical missions where it's a completely mature cataract and it just turns white, and that's sort of where the word had come from. But what he used to have to do was admit people to the hospital, stay overnight, sandbags on the side of the head, compared to what it's evolved to now where lasers make the doctors look smarter. Engineers have 60 different powers of implants just based on the measurements of your eye. We are so accurate we can do your glasses prescription from the inside. So now maybe I don't have to wait for a procedure where I'm legally blind or I don't want to stay overnight in the hospital. If I do it in my 50s, 60s, I can heal overnight, use some eye drops for a couple of weeks, and maybe have another decade or two without glasses.
So once you have cataract surgery, do you
Never
ever
grows back.
You never have
Thank
to have it
goodness.
again?
I would have terrible nightmares, Joe, if these were coming back in the first 30,000 of these I've done. So thankfully, it's once per eye. We do usually do them a couple weeks apart because you may be blurry for a day or two. It's very fast, but it's not instant, right? So we don't want you to be too rushed in any of this process because it is an elective surgery. And although it's painless and fast, we still want to monitor and see how you're doing and make sure you're happy. And maybe if one eye is excellent at distance and intermediate, but you said, gee, I wish I had a little bit more here, I can modulate that with the other eye, or vice versa. Say, my near is really great, but I wish my distance was a little better. We can do that's another benefit of not doing them both at the same time.
All right, we're coming to the end of the interview, but I have to ask you on one other thing. Computers, is it easier to work on a computer once you've had cataract surgery, or can you tell before you've had the surgery whether, if you're looking at a computer and you're like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So almost certainly, having cataract surgery itself is giving you a clearer, more crisp vision with more vivid colors and less glare. So any of your distances, including computers, are going to be better. Some of the options, we might even also make the computer not only improved, but also without glasses.
That's great to know.
That's
Okay, Dr. Michael Endl, thank you very much for joining us.
My
From
pleasure.
Fichte, Endl, and Elmer Eye Care, 2 locations, Amherst and Niagara Falls. Phone number 1-800-309-2020, and fichte.com is the website. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Fichte, Endl, and Elmer Eye Care.